So the other day I posted a video where I was testing some 4570 loaded with 14 grains of Trail Boss, and it didn't take very long before I started getting a bunch of snappy comments about how Trail Boss is most definitely not black powder and maybe you should change your name to everything nitrocellulose and so on and so forth, which is all fine and dandy. But I did load up a handful, and I mean only a handful, of black powder 4570 because I figured somebody was going to ask. Now, I do have a video that I did on this quite some time ago where I show you how I load it, which is demonetized because YouTube doesn't like that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to show you how to do it because that would be wrong. But I did load them up with 65 grains of my 2F corned black powder made with alder buckthorn. It's the best black powder that I can make. And I used to load it with 70 grains, which comes up right to the top, but I've been loading it with 65 grains because I don't have to compress it nearly as much. With corn powder, I've had a couple of them with 70 grains where I actually bulged a case, but with my old screen powder, I didn't have to worry about it. So anyway, 405 grain lead flat point, lubed with my homemade black powder lube, and 65 grains of Willard McBain's 2F homemade black powder. All right, black powder 4570.
Like
1286.
a little bit high over the top.
1292. Is it hitting low again?
I didn't see where that one went. Now you got it.
1377.
Whoa.
Or maybe 1317. 1306. These have more punch than the Trail Boss loads.
Really?
Yeah. Try a couple more of those.
How many grains you got in there?
65. And yes, I am well aware that one of my suspender straps is broken. My suspicion is the heavy recoil from this rifle broke it. 1297. 1308. 1295. It ended on a miss. 1308. These feel pretty good. So overall, it did pretty well. It's definitely moving faster than the Trail Boss loads, which averaged about 1,050, I think, or 1,047. Even though it still hit lower, I had it sighted in for those Trail Boss loads, and I had to click the sights up a little bit. But then after I did that, I could pretty much hit where I was aiming. Of course, on the last one, I missed, and boy, I hate like crazy to end on a miss, but you know, sometimes that's just the way it is. I only loaded up 10 rounds, and the other two I shot off camera at a paint can at like 80 yards and missed both times the same. So anyway, so for the people that are complaining about not seeing black powder 4570, I hope this is satisfactory. So as usual, folks, if you thought this video didn't suck, do me a favor and hit the like button and consider subscribing. And if you did think it sucked, make your own damn video. All right, for those of you that have stuck around this far, I appreciate it, but let me try and elaborate on something. When I said earlier that I used to load it with 70 grains and it'd come up to the top and I could compress it no problem, I was using screened powder. This is screened black powder. This is the old-fashioned way I used to make it. And these granules, if you could see, are really light and fluffy, and you could just, rub it with your hand and it'll pretty much turn back into dust. You see how easy that comes apart. And the powder that I make nowadays is corned powder. And you can see it has really nice granules. They're pretty even size. And when you squeeze this and really, really pinch the shit out of it, it doesn't exactly turn back into dust. It will break into smaller pieces, but it doesn't turn to dust. These granules are very, very hard compared to this stuff, which is very light and fluffy. So when you leave yourself a little bit more room in a 4570 case to compress it, you're not having to smash all of these hard granules into pieces where this stuff would compress no problem. So I hope that clarifies it for somebody, because I'm sure I'm going to get asked about it. So there you have it.